Good morning, everyone. In the last class, we have seen the introduction to S matrix, that is the different properties of S matrix, that is S parameters. So, it is S parameters are nothing but your scattering matrix of microwave network. So, they are complex numbers, and the matrix format is the number of rows and the columns in the matrix represents the number of ports. It is represented as the elements of the matrix are represented as Sij. The I represents port which is excited. J is a port where it is representing the output. So the diagonal elements of S matrix represents reflection coefficient, and the off diagonal elements represents the transmission coefficient. And we have also seen how to represent the matrix for 1 port, 2 port, 3 port, and a different number of ports. And we have also seen the 2 port network, how it is represented. The S matrix for 2 port network we have seen. So here AI represents the wave incident to port A. B, J represents the wave reflected from the port J. So how to measure the, and I also said you need to know the Z0 to find the S parameters. If you don't know the value of Z0, so knowing the S parameters, it is of no use. Okay, so you should compulsorily know the characteristic impedance to find the S parameters. Okay, we have also seen how to measure the S11 and S21. Okay, this is measured when ZL is equal to, that is your load impedance, is equal to characteristic impedance. And you can measure S12 and S22 when ZS is equal to Z0, that is your source impedance will be is equal to characteristic impedance. And also we have discussed the advantages of S parameters over Z, Y and H ABCD parameters, that is ease of measurements, transmission line parameters, say for example RLGC, your characteristic impedance. All these things you can calculate very easily using S parameters. And you can also measure return loss, reflection loss, gain, VSWR, all those things. And using this S parameters, conversion is very easy. That is, from the S parameters you can convert that to your Z parameter, Y parameter, H and ABCD parameters. This and all we had discussed in the yesterday's class. And what are the disadvantages? Coming to the disadvantages, it is frequency domain analysis is not possible using S parameters. Okay, it is only you can do frequency domain analysis, not the time domain analysis. So a conversion between this frequency domain and the time domain using S parameter, it induces error. That is also, it is not possible. And one more disadvantage is you can't calculate the values of the voltage and the current using S parameters. So we had started with the properties of S parameters in the previous class. Okay, today we'll continue with that class. Actually 4 parameters are given for you. I had discussed 2 parameters, two properties. The one property is zero diagonal elements for perfect matched networks. That is, for a perfectly matched network, you will be having the diagonal elements as 0. That is, SII will be is equal to 0. Now the next one we have discussed is symmetry of S for reciprocal network. So you can write it as Sij is equal to Sji, where I is not equal to j. Okay, so which results in the transpose of the S matrix will be equal to the S matrix. And we had done the proof of this also yesterday. So correct, no? So we had seen till here we had discussed till 2 properties of your S matrix in the last class. So today we'll see what are the other 2 properties that are present for the S parameters. The third property is, it is unitary property for lossless junction. It is unitary property for lossless junction. So what is this property is? It is for any lossless network, the sum of the products of each term of any one row or any one column of the S matrix multiplied by its complex conjugate is unity. That is, it is nothing but S. Say I have a S matrix with a N matrix, that is N port network I am considering. So in that, if I take SNI, okay, the parameter SNI, if I take, if you multiply it by this, if you multiply this with its conjugate, you'll be getting it as 1. So what is this statement is, for any lossless network, the sum of the products of this okay for a lossless junction or for any lossless network, the sum of, so here it comes the summation, it is there. So n is equal to 1 to n. Okay, the sum of products of each term of any row, any one row or any one column of the S matrix multiplied by its conjugate will gives you complex conjugate will gives you the unity. So this is what the statement is. Now we'll see the proof of this one. Okay, so for a lossless N port device, the total power leaving N port must be equal to the total input power to these ports. That is, for N port device, the total power leaving the N port, must be equal to the total power input to these inputs. So now how you can write is, the summation from n is equal to 1 to n bn square, which will be equal to, this is the total power leaving the n port, must be equal to the same thing, sum of an square. This is the input power. Okay, or this you can write it as summation n is equal to 1 to n. This is I is equal to 1 to n. So this will be ni into ai. Okay, which is equal to n is equal to 1 to n an square. And why this is? Because we know that B is equal to S into A. This we know, no, the definition of your S matrix. So from this statement we had written this. Now we'll take if only ith port is excited. If only we are using only ith port, where you are providing only input at ith port, and all other ports are matched terminated. Matched terminated means you are terminating that ports with a matched impedance. Okay, matched terminated. Then we can write an is equal to 0. An is equal to 0 for all ports except for ith port. So for ith port you will be having AI. So what is that AI? You will be getting it as, that is how you can write as summation n is equal to 1 to n. It is S ni into AI whole square, which is equal to summation n is equal to 1 to n AI whole square. The previous equation what I had written is here, it was an, correct? So but we are considering only the ith port. So all an will be equal to 0 except ai. So that's why you'll be getting the equation 2. So this you can write it as summation n is equal to 1 to n Sni whole square, okay, which is equal to 1. So if you simplify this one, you'll be getting ai square this side, and here also ai square gets cancelled, and you'll be getting this equation. So this is what your property is. So this you can write it as, this magnitude whole square you can write it as summation n is equal to 1 to n. This is Sni into Sni complex conjugate, which will be is equal to 1. This is what your property is. That is unitary property for lossless network. And these properties are very important. Okay, you will get it in the examination. So 4 properties are there. All the 4 properties might ask, or they can mention only explain this property with proof, they can ask, or generally they can ask explain the properties of S parameters. Then you need to write all the 4 properties of S parameters. And this further you can do it as, if all an is equal to 0 except ai and ak, then I can write it as summation n is equal to 1 to n, okay, s and k into Sni complex conjugate will be is equal to 0, where I is not equal to k. Okay, and this you can further you can write it as S complex conjugate into S transpose will be is equal to unity matrix, or this can also be written as S complex conjugate is equal to S inverse transpose. Okay, this is all about the unitary property for lossless network. Okay, so next you have one more property, that is phase shift property. So what is this phase shift property? So let me consider one device S, so which is a 2-port. This is port 1, this is port 2. So complex S parameters of network are defined with respect to the position of the port or reference plane. So all the S parameters of the network are defined with respect to the position of the port, or you can say reference plane. with respect to the reference plane, you are defining the S parameters. So for a two-port network, so I am considering a two-port network, okay. So with this is a two-port network I am considering with unprimed reference lanes. This is a reference lane I am considering. That is for port 1, this one, and this is the port for port 2. Okay. So the S parameters will have a definite complex values if you considering this. If the reference planes 1 and 2 are shifted outwards, so I'm shifting this reference plane of port 1 to 1 dash, and I'm shifting this reference plane of 2 to 2 dash. Okay, so what will be the values? This is shifted by length L1 and this is shifted by length L2. So we can write by electrical phase shift. So we can write the electrical phase shift as phi 1 is equal to beta 1 into L1 and phi 2 will be equal to beta 2 into L2. So then the variables it becomes here this is A1 incident and this is B1 reflected. Here you have A2 incident, B2 you have. So what happens to this variables? Okay, so we'll be getting it as A1 e power j phi 1 and we'll be getting B1 as B1 e power minus j phi 1 and A2 e power minus j phi 2 and B2 e power minus j phi 2. So the new matrix is given by the new S matrix is given by. So if the reference planes were here only, that is 1 and 2, you would have got the S matrix as the previous one we had discussed, no? So the same thing you would have got. Now the reference planes of port 1 and port 2 are shifted by a length of L1 and L2. So the new S matrix will be S dash, which is equal to e power minus j phi 1 0 0 in e power minus j phi 2, which is multiplied by S. This is a previous one. Okay, so e power minus j phi 1 0, this is 0 e power minus j phi 2. This is what you will be getting. So what is the phase shift property is the complex X parameters of a network are defined with respect to the position of the port or reference plane. Okay, if it is shifted by some length outward, the S parameters values will be changing. So this is all regarding the properties of the S parameters. The very first property is what it is. For a matched network, you will be having the diagonal elements as a 0. That is SII will be equal to 0. Second property is what? That is S into S transpose. That one. Okay. Third one is the unitary property. Now we have discussed, no, that one. And the fourth property is phase shift property. All these properties are very important from the examination point of view. So next we have S parameters for two-port network with mismatched loop. Till now we had discussed when the output impedance or the input impedance is matched with the characteristic impedance. So with the matched line we were discussing. Now we'll consider what happens your S parameters for two-port network with mismatched loop. Mismatched load. Loop also you can say. mismatched load. A two-port network or a junction is formed when there is a discontinuity between the input and the output port. Correct now? So when there is a discontinuity between the input and the output, then you will be having a two-port junction. So the terminal reference planes 1 and 2 are chosen. In the previous case we had discussed the reference planes. So the terminal reference planes 1 and 2 are chosen beyond the distances of the order of one wavelength, so that the equivalent voltage and the current at these positions are proportional to the total transverse electric and the magnetic fields respectively for propagation mode only. So these type of circuits are analyzed using S matrix formulation. So we'll consider one two-port network. Which is having a characteristic impedance of Z0, okay, which is a two-port network. It is having characteristic impedance or system impedance, you can say it is Z0, which is terminated by a load impedance ZL. Okay, here you have the source impedance, or you can say generator impedance, it is ZG, and this is your supply VG source, and you have the input A1, reflected wave B1, you have the input here as A2, output as B2. So at this you have the transmission, this is a reflection coefficient 1, and here you will be getting reflection coefficient 2, and the transmission coefficient S12 and S21. So this is a two-port network terminated by a normalized load ZL and generator impedance which is equal to 1. Then the reflection coefficient at load end. The reflection coefficient at load end is given by gamma 2, that is tau 2, which is equal to ZL divided by Z0 minus 1 divided by ZL divided by Z0 plus 1, which is taken as 1, equation 1. Okay, the reflection coefficient at port 1, this is at port 2, that is what your tau 2. So at port 1, if you consider, we'll be getting it as tau 1, which is equal to S11 plus S12 S21 into tau 2 divided by 1 minus S22 into tau 2. So this is equation 2. You might be thinking how it has come. This is nothing but your general definition we had written, no? The reflection coefficient definition. But how this has come? So I'll show you how to, derivation is not given. I'll show you how to get this equation. Okay. So we were talking about the load, right? When we'll be getting the mismatched load. Say I am considering one network here at the receiver end. So this is your receiving antenna. Okay, this is your receiving antenna, and it is connected with a low noise amplifier followed by a filter. So it is followed by a mixer here. So what happens here is the low noise amplifier is also a two-port network. Filter is also a two-port network. Okay. When it coming to the mixer, which is a one port, what the function of mixer is, it converts a frequency to intermediate frequency, giving only one port at RF frequency, correct? No, so this amplifier, low noise amplifier, is also a two port, and the filter also it is two port. When coming to the mixer, it gives you the some coming to the mixer, it will convert it into a equivalent frequency. There you will be getting it as a one port. So analyzing this network, analyzing this type of network using S parameters, it is difficult. Instead, we are replacing this network by some equivalent impedance. So what we are doing is we are replacing this. So we are replacing this network by a equivalent impedance. You can say this, we can take it as ZL. Okay, so you're replacing, no, this is Z, replacing by your some impedance, that we are taking it as Z in. Okay, so how to do that one? That is what your S parameters for two-port network with a mismatched load. So this circuit will reduce into, now you have VG here, your source, okay, followed by your source impedance, and this is terminated by your ZL. This is what you are calculating. So if you know these values, you can easily calculate the voltage and the current through this one. Now how to find this reflection coefficient? So for that we are considering the signal flow analysis. So if I write the signal flow graph for this particular network, how will I get it is, you have two port. So this is a two port network. Okay. So where you have the input A1. Here you have S11. So this is B1. Correct. So followed by S12. The output from the port 2 is, it is B2, and input for this is B1. So here you will get a S22, and this is the S21. And with respect to output, you have a reflection coefficient tau2. Okay. So if you apply the signal flow graph, so what is your reflection coefficient? It is tau1. I need to calculate at the input port. So it is nothing but the ratio of B1 by A1. You need to find the ratio of these two using the signal flow analysis. You can see the relationship between this B1 and A1, which is direct here through S11. So that is what you are getting. T1 tau1 will be is equal to S11. That is your direct approach for B1. Okay. Next you have number of loops here. It is repeating here. You have number of loops. Using signal flow graph, you can get the equation for that. After simplifying, you will be getting S12 into S21 into tau2 divided by 1 minus S22 into tau2. This is what you are getting here. The reflection coefficient for T1, reflection coefficient at port 1. Okay. So this you understood, no, how we got this equation. But the thing is, yesterday we had discussed that the reflection coefficient for the reflection coefficient is nothing but your diagonal elements of your S matrix, that is S11. Here you can see it is the reflection coefficient is not equal to S11. So the other term is present. So that is what here for the mismatched load, the input reflection coefficient. This is actually the input reflection coefficient. H is not equal to input reflection coefficient is tau 1, which is not equal to S11. Correct? Okay. For a reciprocal network, okay. So for a reciprocal network, so we have S12 is equal to S21, correct? So that your reflection coefficient at port 1 will be is equal to S11 plus S12 into tau 2 divided by 1 minus S22 into tau 2. Okay, this is equation 3. So if the junction is lossless, we have some conditions. If the junction is lossless, so we can write S11 into complex conjugate of your S11 plus S12 into complex conjugate of S12 is equal to 1. Next you have S22 into S22 complex conjugate plus S12 into S12 complex conjugate will be equal to 1. And one more is, it is S11 into S12 complex conjugate plus S12 into S22's complex conjugate will be equal to 0. Okay. Now for lossless two-port network terminated by a mismatched load. Okay. So magnitude of, therefore you can write for a lossless two-port network terminated by a mismatched load. You can write the magnitude of S11 will be equal to magnitude of S22. We know that S parameters of complex numbers. Okay, and you have the magnitude of S12 will be equal to, which is root of 1 minus magnitude of S11 square. Okay, and the input reflection coefficient is input reflection coefficient that is tau 1 will be equal to S11 plus S12 square here the square is there or not written. So S12 square tau 2 divided by 1 minus S22 into tau 2. So this is the working equation for the computation parameters. So we will be using this equation to find the other parameters. Okay. So this is all about. You may get the question, express the S parameters in terms of Z parameters or Y parameters. Okay, like that you'll be getting the questions. Now we'll see what are all the common properties of the S, Z and y. So we have discussed different parameters, right? So we'll see what are all the common properties among all the three parameters. So for s, z and y, what are all the common properties? So the first one is number of elements are equal. The first one. The second one is for reciprocal devices, both S and Z satisfies reciprocity properties. The first common property is it is the number of elements are equal. The second one is the reciprocal for a reciprocal device. Both S and Z satisfies reciprocity theorem. This we had discussed, no? Reciprocity theorem. Okay. That is that Ij is equal to Zji. Similarly for Sij is equal to Sji. Okay, that is the second property which is common. And the third one is if Z is symmetrical, then S is also symmetrical. S is also symmetrical. Okay, so these are the common properties that are available for S, Z and Y. Now we'll see, so what are the advantages of S parameters over the other parameters, that is Z and Y. So you should have some advantages, right? If you're mainly using S parameters, means it should have some advantages over the other parameters. We'll see, so what are the advantages of S matrix over Z and Y. The first one is the unitary property of S. Unitary property of S helps in quick check of the power. Quick check of the power balance. For a lossless structure.